Fire away.
All right, who wants it?
I remember yesterday you were talking about South Alabama, just kind of how, playing them was almost like looking in a mirror. Now that it happened on the field the first time over a year, what are some things that you kind of saw?
Well, I think they're very similar. I mean, they're a gritty program. They have a lot of tradition. They're not going to lay down, and I think that's who we are too. And both those programs mirror one another, and not just in the numbers as what we're at this year, not necessarily the record, but the offensive numbers, the pitching numbers, everything with that. So they didn't go away. I mean, they're a good club, and they're resilient. But tonight it was our guys that just did a little bit more to get that win.
I know you guys take this game by game, but Coastal loses tonight. You guys are now tied for first. You kind of control your own destiny now, in a sense. You're
right, and I can't emphasize it enough. We do, but we do it one game at a time, and we can't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. We got to strive to play the best baseball we can. We got to strive to give ourselves a chance to win a baseball game by doing things right and competing and having the right attitude and having a purpose for that attitude. Those are the things that are challenged to these guys to go out and play their best game. And as you saw tonight, with a 4-run lead there in the ninth, quickly it turned into a 2-run lead with the winning run, go-ahead run at the plate. That Storm was able to get out. So sometimes you have those kind of games, and sometimes you have a little bit of hiccups. But tonight I was real proud. There's a reason why Tanner Hall takes the ball on Friday night. You saw that tonight. I think the whole key to the game on the pitching side was his ability to minimize in that first inning. Runners second and third, nobody out. I mean, that could have been a huge inning for them. They put 2 good at-bats against him, but he got out of there with just a sacrifice fly. The other guy moved up, and he was able to pitch around it and minimize. Of course, second inning, the guy hits a home run, but proud of our guys being able to come back in the bottom of the second and get one of those runs back. So offensively, 4 of the 8 innings, we're able to score. Had some situational at-bats, a couple of sac flies, one out of Pato and one out of Monastery that came in real big situations. Slade Wilkes hadn't had very good at-bats prior to that, but he was able, the veteran that he is, he was able to kind of block those out and flush those prior at-bats. And the moment was Dickerson leads off with a walk, and Slade greets a guy with a triple to score Dickerson. So all those things were just huge momentum swings for us, enabling us to win this game.
Felt like the appearances at the plate got better as the game went on.
I agree. I did too. And sometimes that happens. We saw that against Tulane the other night. We were down 4-1. We weren't doing a whole lot, but there, I think in the 5th inning, we were able to plate a couple of runs, and 6th inning played a couple of runs. And sometimes the game's won different ways. Sometimes it's won in the 1st inning, and you look back and you go, man, you won that game in the 1st inning. Sometimes it's won in the 9th inning. But, I think today it's a pretty good balance, with us being able to score there in the 2nd inning and score 4 of the 8 innings.
Yeah, and, towards the beginning of the season when you'd have those struggles at-bats in the beginning innings, it seems like it would carry on to the rest of the game. But recently it hasn't seemed like that. So does that give you some confidence
hopefully
there?
We've grown out of that. We've become a better team than those situations that you allude to, and I agree. Tough times, but hopefully we've gotten better as a team, and we've learned from those, and our attitude and purpose is different than it was back then.
And can you talk about Danny Lynch's homer there?
Yeah, what a big swing that was. I knew right off the bat it was gone, so real proud of him. Defensively, he brings it every day. He's one of our captains. He's like the quarterback on defense. He keeps everybody where they're supposed to be. Opposing coaches tell me all the time that it's unbelievable how much that he instructs those guys and how much the team listens to him. And he's done that since he was a freshman. His brother Timmy did it when he was here. So 10 of the 14 years that I've been a head coach, there's been a Lynch that's been in this program. So, I guess that era will end, this year. But that was a big swing for us right there that kept kind of driving that momentum a little bit more in our favor.
Have you ever had a guy with a more unusual batting stance than Danny does?
No, I have not. And I'm hoping that he doesn't bring a goat to the plate for goat yoga. And I don't know, there's something lurking that I feel like something else is fixing to happen.
Coach Barry, I was just about to say too, you guys have put yourself in the place to control your own destiny. Obviously that's huge. What are some things that you guys have kind of learned over the last 2 weeks or so about yourselves?
and I know this is going to sound bad because you're probably going to, and everybody's going to think, well, why didn't you have the attitude before? But, something clicked at Coastal Carolina on that Sunday. Their attention was gotten, whether it was by the meeting, whether it was by giving up 35 runs to our 14 in the first 2 games. But that was the wake-up call. That was the punch in the mouth that sometimes you need. And certainly we responded in that game. If I remember right, we were down 7-4, I believe. And then we came back and was able to take that lead on them and then really kind of blew them out and won 14-7 or 15-7. I can't remember what it was. But, we didn't lay down. And that's a sign of a good club when you get punched in the mouth against a really good club. But you're able to salvage that one win, and it would have been devastating had we gotten swept. I emphasize that, and I think they took it to heart and they had that sense of urgency. But right now we're playing good ball. We've got the attitude that you need to come out here and compete against good clubs as we're moving down the stretch.
Thank you, Coach.
Good.
In the big clutch home run, and I feel like it's been a while since hit one of those. Riding the bases, what was kind of going through your mind?
Felt good. I knew it was huge. I knew it was a 2-2 ball game at that point, and their starter was good. He was throwing well, so I knew we needed to get the lead. And I don't know, just fired up, I guess.
Yeah, another thing I noticed too, just over the home stretch and over the last few weeks as well, you are always like the loudest one in the dugout. Man. Like even when things are kind of down, you guys always find your way, but you are always just keeping the energy up. How much do you pride yourself being that guy in the locker room?
Well, that's a big deal. I'm obviously one of the leaders in the team, so it's my job to get these guys going if I feel like the vibe's down. And we've done a great job over this win streak, keeping the vibe up all the time, being positive, being good energy all the time. We've done a really good job over this win streak.
With Coastal losing tonight, you guys are now tied for first place. What becomes the message now?
Well, that's big. We knew we were chasing them down, but it's just a one game at a time. That's why we went on this win streak. It's one game at a time, one pitch at a time, one inning at a time. That's why over this win streak I talked about it. We went down, I think, 2-0 tonight, and there was just no panic because we're a confident bunch, and we knew that at some point we were going to start getting to them. It's just one game at a time, same as this thing.
I know it's nothing new. You take like a weird dip when you're in the batter's box, but it's gotten more noticed lately.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? It seems like you've gotten lower.
It's been more pronounced in the last, I'd say, week or so. I feel like I went on a stretch of rough games where I feel like I was coming out of my legs a little bit. So the last week, probably since Sunday against Arkansas State, I think, it's been a little more pronounced. So that's why people have been noticing it a little bit more. And tonight, I think it was less. I don't think I'll see as many videos tonight. I think it was a little less pronounced tonight. I'm kind of finding my swing a little bit.
Is there a purpose to it? Is it just...
Yeah, so it's been, since I was coming out of my legs, I wanted to get really low and make sure that I stayed on my legs. If I come out of my legs, then I got no chance to hit, so I wanted to really make sure I stayed down on my legs.
So it has nothing to do with the recent nickname that is floated around?
No, it doesn't. It's funny. I always hear the fans in the stands saying something when I do it, which is funny. I like that. But
what's your take on your new nickname?
What's the nickname?
Dad Bod Danny.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. I've had a dad bod for a while. This is probably the least dad bod I've had in a few years. I've had a dad bod since I came in. But
to be fair,
I like it.
Southern Miss Baseball Twitter used it.
So I love it. I love the nickname. Hey, I'm going to be a dad here in about 9 months probably. So just kidding.
Well, I was going to say, too, 8 games, obviously you want to stretch it out to even more, right? Being 15 from last year. But what do you think you've learned so far, you and the team so far?
Yeah, I think early in the year we were kind of struggling, and we expected the offense to be what it's kind of been lately. And early in the year we started struggling. It kind of got to us, and it spiraled a little bit, and we started piling up the bad at-bats because, a few guys are struggling, and other guys feel like they need to press harder and harder. Over this win streak, we really relaxed because we've been more confident. We've been confident, like I said. When we go down, we're not really worried about it, so it's more relaxed, I'd say.
Tanner, you gave up those 2 runs in the beginning and then no hits until the 9th. What kind of clicked there?
Honestly, it was just, they came out swinging early, so kind of felt like I had to kind of step up and rise to the occasion a little bit. Along with at the beginning of the game, we weren't quite getting those runs in we needed to and stuff like that. So I just felt like once we kind of all got rolling, I just had to keep pulling up shutdown innings and things like that. And once we started hitting it, it made it really easy to just go out there and keep rolling, go with that momentum. Had Danny coming up to me and telling me keep attacking these guys and stuff like that. So it's kind of how I felt.
Yeah. After the 4th inning, after your second walk, you retired the next 14 in a row. So it seems like you didn't know that.
No.
what was different from there? Was there a pitch you were relying on, or what happened?
I think I really started to notice that once I was getting ahead on those guys, they started taking the changeup. I think they were all sitting on the changeup, and so they started taking it when I was leaving it down. So kind of started throwing a get-me-over changeup just in the strike zone to try to get that call. And then once we did that, kind of switched over to, once I was ahead in the count, throwing some fastballs to kind of mess up their timing a little bit. And then after that, I feel like they were just off balance.
Right, and you kind of added that too. Now this makes it 4 home starts in a row that you've won, right? And also your 10th consecutive home win as a team here at the Pete. So just kind of like describe the difference of just having your own home rubber out there.
I mean, it's amazing. Like I said last week, I mean, the atmosphere here is it's really different. It's not like any other place I've pitched at, and the energy that they provide, I mean, like you just feel like you got to get things done when you're out there. And when things aren't going so good, I mean, you just know that you're going to come back in the dugout. The entire fan base is going to be behind those hitters. So, I mean, they're going to put up runs and things like that. I mean, even though we didn't start off as hot as we did this year, I feel like this was our time where we kind of decided, like, if we want to get hot and do the things we want to do this season, this is the time to do it. And I feel like these last 10 games have been really good for us. I mean, putting bats on the ball and everybody's pitching well. Everybody's entitled to a bad day and stuff like that. So, I mean, obviously we have those little hiccups, but other than that, I feel like everybody's just really aggressive out there, whether they're hitting or pitching.
Yeah, I was going to say, too, I know that it's been kind of a recurring thing. Billy comes out there after you, and he has another great start last week and stuff. You kind of set the tone, so Billy always tells me all the things you tell him to prepare for the team. So, what did you tell Billy about for a start tomorrow?
I haven't talked to him yet, but, I mean, honestly, I'm just going to go tell him to go right at these guys. They're not somebody that's just gonna, I heard that their way of scoring and stuff a lot is off of our mistakes and things like that. So not give up freebies and stuff. And I mean, Billy, he's not that kind of guy. He's a strike thrower and he's a competitor. So I'm just gonna tell him to attack that zone and trust all his stuff, because I mean he's got great stuff and I know he's gonna do well.
What's it like having Danny as a teammate? Because he's never quiet at third base, for sure. I know everybody talks about his batting stance. What's it like for you just having him on third base during the game?
I mean, honestly, it's awesome. He's a great third baseman. He's great defensively, and the energy he provides when you're on the mound. I mean, I can hear him almost every pitch. Whenever I miss something, he's just like, flush it, get right back in there, things like that. And I feel like that's something that helps a pitcher out a lot, because sometimes whenever it gets real quiet and people in the dugout are kind of unsure of what to say, Danny's always right there to be like, hey, let's go, get back in there and things like that. So it's fun. It's like something that kind of just helps you move past whatever you just did, whether you 4-pitch walked a guy or gave up a home run and stuff. He's like, hey, so what? Let's go. We're going to hit anyway. So
have you ever had a teammate like that? I mean, everybody talks about how he's like a coach.
I mean, honestly, I don't think I really have. I would say in high school, my best friend was our shortstop, and he is the type to call Tom and come talk to me all the time and be like, hey, let's go. Let's get after this guy. You're better than him. Let's get after it. But, especially not at the college level. I feel like Danny's a different one for sure. He keeps that energy going out on the field, and you know that he's there at all times to make a play.
Does he have the mind of a coach? I mean, just from the way it sounds, like it's like having a coach on the field. I know that's kind of a cliche, but it seems like his baseball knowledge is a little bit higher than most people.
Yeah, I feel like he does have the mind of a coach. He's out there. He's coaching everybody. When he sees something, he'll tell you about it, and he'll really just keep that confidence up, whether you're pitching or hitting. I mean, when hitters are in the box, you can hear him in the dugout the whole time. He's talking the entire game, trying to get these guys up back, because I think he knows how vital that is in a game, is energy, and just simply having that dugout loud. I mean, that produces runs, and then when you're pitching, having the dugout loud, it produces strikeouts or rollovers or flyouts and things like that.
Thanks, Tanner.